Hello everyone! So today I want to talk about what things to avoid when creating a villain character. So if you're thinking about creating a villain character, this video is for you. So without further ado, let's just start. So the first thing I think it's really important is to not add pointless characteristics. So for example, every specific feature or characteristic should have a reason to be there, be it a scar, a hook for a hand, or a glass eye. So what I mean by this is do not add these things just to make it look more evil. Add them because there's a story behind this. Because, for example, in Peter Pan you have Captain Hook, and he's not just a man who lost that hand and has a hook instead. The whole hook thing is his backstory, is very important in his character. So he lost a hand after a fight with Peter Pan, and a crocodile got his hand. If I'm not mistaken, this is something like this very quickly. So, and you see throughout the movie that this is a whole thing. He's very scared of the crocodile, he can't stand it, and it's something that it's really a trauma for him. He will talk about it on, and it's one of the reasons why he wants to go against Peter Pan. So when adding these kinds of things, think about the story behind it. Do not draw it just to draw it. I think it really adds something more to your character if you think the reasons behind the features that you add to your characters. So next one, and I think this is something that it's fun to avoid, which is not drawing the usual villain look. So usually villains have a lanky body and a pointy nose. They are tall, they're very slim, and I'm not saying this isn't fun and that you can't do it, but try to go away from those shapes as well. Try to do something else. For example, why not a very round and short character? I mean, usually you will see someone short and round and will think, oh, what a nice guy or a nice person, right? But what if instead they are actually really evil? I think that can be really fun. So you don't need to always use the same kind of shapes when drawing a villain. I know that is something that we usually see in cartoons and movies, but that doesn't mean that you have to do it all the time. So try to be original with it and creative with it. Try to draw other shapes as long as they fit your character's story. Alright, so next one. Don't overuse dark colors. Usually villains will use very neutral and somber colors, for example the blacks, the browns, the purples even, any kind of color but darker. But I think it's really interesting to see some neutral colors but then a splash of color there. So use more colorful tones to make your character pop up a bit and become more interesting. Even if you want to use darker colors, don't let that be the only ones in the scene. So for example, in this case, I drew the jacket thing. It's not a jacket, but I can't remember the name of it. But I drew it green, so I wanted it to pop up. But I could have done the opposite. For example, everything would be in dark purple and then the gloves will have a splash of color. So what I mean is that the vibrant color doesn't need to be the main color that you use, but even if it's just a bit an accessory that your character is using, it will pop up a bit more and your character won't be lost in the background. So try to add at least one vibrant color to your villain character to add a little bit more light to them or a bit more vibrancy so they feel more alive. Alright, with that out of the way, let's talk about the next one, which is don't draw them just being evil all the time. It's fine to draw your villain having a more friendly or nurturing aspect. This will actually develop your character and make them a little bit more relatable to the viewer. So for example, if a character is just bad for the sake of being bad, that might not be as interesting as the character actually looking a bit more human. So they like things, they like to take care of plants, maybe they like to take care of their families, and that's why they become a villain. So these kind of things is again a bit more about the writing of your character, the story of your character, and adding these humane traits to your villain will help make them look a little bit more relatable to your viewer. Now, of course, again, you can make a character that is just evil, and even that can be interesting if their story allows it to. Maybe they're just chaotic, we don't know. But think about the story of your character, write those things down, write what they like to do, what they don't like to do, the reasons why they become a villain, and this will be very helpful for when drawing them and for your viewers to get a bit more attached to them, because even if they're villains, it's important for your viewers to be a little bit attached to them. I think it makes things much more interesting for everyone. Now, finally, no capes. Now, joking aside, this is a bit overused, but more than that, sometimes drawing the cape is just a way for you to run away from drawing an actual outfit. So maybe you can add a cape to your character, but don't make that the main piece of their outfit. Create an actual outfit underneath that, and the cape goes behind, or it's a smaller cape. Do try to create a more interesting outfit than just a cape. Of course, maybe they're in the dark alley, they're trying to sneak behind the hero, things like that, and they will be wearing a cape. But they should have more than that. The cape can be fun to draw, but I think you should do the work of doing the rest of the outfit as well. Of course, you can keep the outfit simple. You don't need to do something too detailed, but do think about it. Practicing outfits is important, and it's really fun. Look up things online, look up for references, draw your own clothes. There's so many choices around than just drawing a cape. So I think this is pretty much it on things to avoid when drawing villains. So now it's time for you to go draw some villains and have some fun with it. I sure did have a lot of fun with this one. If you liked this video, if it was helpful for you, like and subscribe so you can see more like this, and remember, keep on drawing.